Hi, and welcome to the David Millar 4-part time trial program, where you're going to learn how you can massively reduce your time trial times off less than 8 hours training per week.
I'd like to really kind of share what I've learned in the last 20 years, which I think is quite a lot. I mean, that's not just through learning through other people, but everything I learned through my mistakes and my own learning curve.
So what do you reckon the top 5 things we can do as an amateur TT here?
The first one is you have to work with what you have. So don't think that you're compromising, you're not going to go any faster unless you go and buy a faster bike as it's advertised. And that leads into number 2, if you like, of the kind of 5 myths that I'd like to break, which is the fastest position is the best position. You want to find the fastest position for you, not the fastest position full stop.
So what's the sort of third thing guys can do?
It's still something that I hear a lot, even from top level riders, that they need the thinnest tyres possible at super high pressure.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that that doesn't, because you're best to use slightly wider, almost the same that you use in the road.
So what 23 mil?
23 is perfect. You could even go 25 on the back, because you're not worrying about air resistance in the back.
What's our next big myth that's holding those back?
Yeah, another one is that big gears are better. This is something that kind of was something that I had to learn the hard way isn't true. That's what I think people forget. They think that the bigger the gear, it's the faster they're going to go. It's not, it's how fast you pedal that gear. That's kind of probably leads into the 5th thing, is the most important thing in a time trial is speed.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of time trials to kind of learn how to read speed. So instead of having power and heart rate and kind of the distance or like 8 different things, all it's about is actually the speed.
So we're going to get deep into some of this stuff, but now we're going to get kitted up and we're going to go out and we're going to hit the road. You're going to show me how to become a decent time trialist.
Like the old days.
Let's go. All right, Dave, it's great to get out on the bikes, spin the legs. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your system. So there's 5 very clear points to this system. 5 areas that people can work on, and they can just expect to make massive gains if they can implement the suggestions we're talking about. So we're talking about position straight away.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because this is the race of truth and it's you on your own against the clock, the most important thing is to make yourself fast, and that means getting in a narrow position. This position you won't use on the road normally, not necessarily the fastest possible position, but the fastest possible position that you can ride in. It is shrinking down your frontal area. So you've got to make yourself as small as possible, and that's how we get our arms in this position, narrow, get your hands like this. Then the little trick is pull your shoulders in, so you're making yourself narrower, and shrink your head in. And then you really do kind of disappear.
It's class, you have disappeared.
Yeah, and that's it. It's as simple as that.
The next part of your system we're talking about, we get pretty in detail about equipment and equipment choices. But again, just 1 or 2 for the listeners. Give me a couple of, me and you are heading down to the bike shop. What's the first couple of things I should get if I want to get faster?
Number 1, tri bars. Like you've got on your bike. I mean, this is obviously a full specialist bike, but you can just have a road bike like yours. And if you just buy those clip-on bars, that's what's going to put you in your position. Then the second thing, probably the second most important thing really, is the speed suit, or the skin suit, whatever you want to call it, the one piece. Because your body's the biggest part, the biggest thing that you've got to punch through the air. And if you've got baggy clothes on, or it's just, you're going to be causing so much drag.
Brilliant. Okay, so the third point on the 5-part system that we're covering, it's strategy. So I'm talking strategy. What do I do on the day of the race, and what do I do when I'm actually in the race?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You've got to try and control as many variables as you can. And that's where the strategy comes in. And that is even in the pre-race protocol, the build-up, the checklist, and then during the race, actually knowing the course, having done your reconnaissance, knowing how you're going to apply what your tactics are going to be in the ride. It's not just a simple go out and sit on one power. You've got to be able to know exactly how you're going to ride that race.
So one of the things that you talked about that I thought was brilliant on the 5-point is the importance of having a test course.
Yeah.
Another constant. Can you talk us a bit more through that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember, this isn't just about numbers. This is ultimately about a race. And you have to choose your race. Choose your kind of the one that you're going to aim to beat. It's not just about going out there and increasing your power. You want to get faster. And the only way you can really prove you're faster is by having a course. Now, either it's one that's a local time trial that's already mapped out that is semi-official, or you can just go out and do it yourself.
And the last thing, and it might seem common sense, but so many people are getting it wrong. How do I train for time trials?
Well, we started off quite simple with the system for the kind of beginners. is there are 3 elements to it. It's kind of training yourself to ride in the position. So it's position training and making sure you can be effective in your position. So it's all very well having a super fast position, but if you can't actually pedal, then it's useless.
Yeah, you can't be home on
So-
your armchair.
So you have to be position training, that's number 1. Number 2 is pace control. So we have an interval session within the system that basically teaches you to pace control, because that's probably the biggest thing, and even at the highest level, guys get that wrong all the time, and it's something you really need to practice over and over. And the third thing is the speed endurance. Be able to kind of train your body to handle the high workload by overloading it in the training. So when it comes to the actual race day, it's not a surprise.
So they're just 3 of the sessions from this 6-week TT plan we put together. So it's for guys, you know, if you have a target TT, if you're looking to beat friends and stuff, if you can get this 6-week plan into action, but then if you can add in all the other steps like we're talking about, like if you can get equipment, if you can get your strategy down, if you can have that constant course, and if you can get some of the positional changes, it ends up revolutionising the TT rider. Make sure you watch video 2 coming soon, where we're going to cover David's TT system in further detail. We're going to show you how to develop a testing course where you can learn to implement and refine David's system, and how putting all 5 points together will guarantee you a PB in your next target event. So make sure you watch it.